This is it. The best smartphone from Samsung. The best smartphone from Apple. Both extreme powerhouse flagships from massive powerhouse companies, and today they go head to head in a speed test. I have with me the best version of the S21 Ultra, you know, the one powered by the Snapdragon 888 chipset, and the ultimate iPhone 12, you know, the Pro Max variant, driven by Apple's own A14 Bionic chip. The Samsung has 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM. The iPhone has half that at just 6 gigs and older LPDDR4X modules. The S21 Ultra is kitted with UFS 3.1 storage and the iPhone 12 Pro Max with NVMe storage. They both have been updated to their latest available software update, that being One UI 3.1 skinned over Android 11 on the Samsung and iOS 14.4 on the iPhone. We'll be setting the screen resolution of the Samsung to WQHD+. The iPhone sits somewhere between WQHD+ and Full HD+. Finally, we can pair up that WQHD+ resolution with an adaptive 120Hz refresh rate on the Samsung, while the iPhone is stuck to just 60. We do have something new here that was introduced with One UI 3.0 on the Samsung side called enhanced processing. Really interested to test this one out. We have made sure to disable all forms of battery optimizations on the Samsung for all of the apps that we'll be jumping through today. I've also kept the animation scales to 1x on the Samsung to match that of the iPhone. Round 1 will be all about boot, fingerprint, and face unlock. Round 2 will be all about initial opening of app speed, and round 3 will be about RAM management. We're going to be using my fingers over here, so to keep things accurate, we're going to be popping GoPro footage at the bottom left-hand corner. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. Starting off here in round 1 to see which one can boot up quickest, it is indeed the iPhone with 16 seconds as opposed to the crazy 24.5 seconds on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, giving the iPhone its first point over there. Now, second point after loading the app icons when first going into the home screen, a lot quicker than the Samsung that time around. Testing the 3D unlock facial recognition system on the iPhone as opposed to the ultrasonic version 2 fingerprint sensor underneath the screen of the Samsung. The Samsung was faster the first 2 times round. Of course, it does go straight into it as well, but we're looking at the icon at the top of the iPhone screen there, and the Samsung was quicker every single time. Now, when we match up the facial recognition on the Samsung, which is indeed unsecure compared to the secure one on the iPhone was quicker 2 out of 3 times as opposed to the 1 out of 3 times that the Samsung had. Ending off round 1 with 3 points to the iPhone and 1 point for the Samsung. Making sure all apps are cleared in the background, same Wi-Fi network, max brightness. Going into the first app here, which is our system app settings, the Samsung clearly gets that point. First point for the Samsung here. Jumping into our second system app, which is calculator, Samsung picks up its second point. Not looking too good for Apple, but guys, it gets really interesting. Just stay with me here. Going into our third system app, which is the camera app. Jumping into that one, the iPhone was certainly quicker that time around, picking up its first point. Flipping to the selfie cam, usually iPhones are slower, but this one is quicker. And taking the snap, the iPhone is quicker to take the snap, but the Samsung saves its gallery quicker, so no point was allocated there. So far, it's 2 points a piece. And going into our last system app, photos, they both did something really strange when it came to animations, but they landed up with the same end result. Same thing with the photos. The Samsung opened up the picture quicker, but the iPhone loaded the page quicker, so no points were allocated there for the Photos app. But Adobe Photoshop Express over here, a photo editing app, the iPhone 12 Pro Max opened it up quicker. The Samsung went into the photo quicker. Now 3 points for 3 on both devices here. And jumping into, if we can ever get there, on the iPhone to save it to gallery, we got it saved to gallery at the bottom of the Samsung screen quicker than it said saved to camera roll at the top of the iPhone screen, getting the Galaxy S21 Ultra its 4th point in round 2. Going into Adobe Premiere Rush, a video editing app made by Adobe, the iPhone 12 Pro Max opened that one up quicker. Going into the project, once again, iPhone 12 Pro Max went into it quicker there, now taking the lead, 5 points as opposed to 4 on the Samsung. We're going to be compressing this 4K 25 FPS file, this video, down to 1080p, matching the frame rate of 25 frames per second. I'm not going to speed things up because they're both ridiculously quick. So bear in mind, bottom right hand corner still says 100% real time. Jumping into this one, which one can come out on top? NVMe storage on the iPhone or UFS 3.1 on the Samsung? It is NVMe storage, 4 seconds there for the iPhone, as opposed to It's coming, 9 seconds on the Samsung. Now, this is a small clip, but if we did a 35-minute video, it would take 15 minutes to render on the Samsung as opposed to just under 7 on the iPhone, which is definitely going to be a big plus toward the iPhone when you're rendering larger videos. When we went into Spotify, Samsung picked up its 5th point over there. And the next app that we'll be jumping into is Astral VPN. We need a VPN here in China to get to the next set of apps, and the iPhone opened it up a hell of a lot quicker, now picking up its 7th point. Turning it on, the iPhone still had a loading icon in the center of the screen, so the Samsung was actually quicker there, getting it its 6th point. Going to our first app that we actually need a VPN for here in China. Going into Google Chrome, the iPhone 12 Pro Max opened that one up slightly quicker, now picking up its 8th point with a 2-point lead over the S21 Ultra. And the first social media app we'll be jumping into here is Facebook, which the iPhone 12 Pro Max snags now its 9th point, as opposed to the 6 on the Samsung, now a 3-point lead. Next social media app here is Instagram. Going into that one, once again, iPhone now in double digits with 10 points with a 4-point lead over its competitor, the S21 Ultra. Last social media app here is Twitter. Jumping into that one, the Samsung was slightly quicker that time around, so now just a 3-point difference between the two, now with 7 points on the Samsung as opposed to 10 on the iPhone. Going into YouTube here, the Samsung snags another point, opening up the app quicker, now with 8 points, just 2 points behind the iPhone. And going into my channel, they both loaded different things at different times with the same end result, so at the end of the day, no point was allocated. But going into a video, the Samsung picks up its 9th point since it played it quicker, loaded the page quicker, everything was just done faster there, so Samsung just 1 point behind the iPhone. Now going into Netflix, it is indeed the S21 Ultra opening that one up quicker, now 10 points apiece on both devices. But going into my profile, the iPhone was a lot quicker that time around, now with 11 points as opposed to 10 on the Samsung. The first benchmark that we'll be running through here is Geekbench 5. Now this is Geekbench 5.3.2. This just released. I usually do 5.2.5. The iPhone did, by the way, open this app up quicker, getting it its 12th point. Running through the sped it up bottom right hand corner, still speeding it up. The iPhone definitely finished first, 1 minute and 58 seconds as opposed to 3 minutes and 13 seconds on the Samsung. Now just look at the scores. The Samsung last time out got over 1,000 points for single core and over 3,000 for multi, and now it was just over 2,000 for multi and just over 800 for single. Something definitely strange happening here, though. Remember, we're using version 5.3.2, so I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it. And it's sitting at about 6 degrees hotter than the iPhone. I never usually test out temps in this kind of test, and I never usually run through an app again, but it went down even lower the second time around by 200 in the single core department, making me think that enhanced processing ability within the settings, having that enabled is affecting it somehow. The iPhone actually did better with its second run there, not throttling at all. Going into our next benchmark app here is 3D Mark Wildlife, turning off unlimited mode on the iPhone. The iPhone did open up the app quicker though, picking up its 14th point after getting its 13th point, running through Geekbench quicker, speeding it up, bottom right hand corner. Once again, this time the Samsung gets the point because it finished quicker, not because it got a higher score. It got 28.6 FPS as opposed to 50 FPS on the iPhone. So the iPhone actually did better in terms of performance, but this is a speed test and the Samsung got through it quicker, so it got allocated the points over there. But now, last time the Samsung got 33 FPS, the iPhone got 49, so the iPhone actually jumped up. The Samsung went down by almost 5 frames per second from the last time I tested it out. The Samsung screen is also dimmed over here. I would just check the brightness and it is still set to max because it's overheating. Really strange things are happening with the S21 Ultra. Going to our first game of 4-year Subway Surfers. No surprise, iPhone 12 Pro Max opens this one up quicker now with 15 points as opposed to the 11 on the S21 Ultra with a 4-point lead toward the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now we're going to be jumping into our next game, which is Temple Run 2. I'm going to speed it up in the middle and slow it back down, see what happens, and let's hope for Samsung's case it gets it, and it does, picking up its 12th point, now 3 points behind the iPhone 12 Pro Max. There is no way it can actually win this round since there's only 2 apps left, that is Among Us and PUBG Mobile. But before we do that, just check out these temps again, sitting at about 52 degrees in Celsius on the Samsung, 45 on the iPhone, so about a 7-degree difference between them in terms of degrees Celsius. So that's a bit of a difference with 2 flagship phones. 13th point now for the S21 Ultra, opening up Among Us quicker than the iPhone, so just 2 points behind. But like I said, there's no way it can win in round 2 since the iPhone has a 2-point lead, and now there is only just 1 app left, 1 game left, which is PUBG Mobile. Going into this one a lot longer to load than the previous games that we've been going into. iPhone 12 Pro Max, 14.5 seconds, picks up at 16th point, so it didn't matter anyway. 18 seconds for the S21 Ultra, wrapping up round 2 with 16 points to the iPhone as opposed to 13 on the Samsung. Now we're testing out RAM management. I usually speed through this when both phones keep everything open. The iPhone kept settings open where the Samsung killed it. Then the Samsung kept the rest of the system apps open, but it killed Photoshop. It also kills Premiere Pro Rush over here. And our next app that we'll be jumping into is Spotify, which surprisingly it kept open. Now I did make sure after this test that all these apps are definitely disabled when it comes to battery optimizations on Samsung sides. Once again, it might have to do with that enhanced processing feature that you see within settings that we enabled at the start. I'm gonna have to check that one out and get back to you guys, but it definitely seems something has impacted this. It's probably trying to feed more CPU and GPU power to current apps or benchmarks. Geekbench just got killed over there by the Samsung, and that is why maybe it's killing apps in the background. That's why we're seeing 8 points on the iPhone as opposed to 0 on the Samsung, even though the Samsung has twice the amount of RAM, 12 as opposed to 6 on the iPhone, and slightly newer LPDDR5 RAM as opposed to LPDDR4X on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So this is definitely a whitewash in terms of RAM management toward the iPhone, whitewashing the Samsung with 8 points in round 3 as opposed to 0 on the Samsung. But if we just look at raw performance, raw speed, round 2, 13 points for the S21 Ultra, just 3 points higher on the iPhone 12 Pro Max with 16 points. Overall, 27 points for the iPhone as opposed to 14 on the S21 Ultra. Definitely interesting results. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it. This is TechNick, and I'll see you in the next one.